We're going to make gluten-free bread using cassava flour. So cassava gluten-free bread. We start with cassava flour, then cornstarch. Cassava flour is dense compared to wheat, so it doesn't rise easily. So to help it rise, we add cornstarch so that it can be a bit lighter and rise. Next, we add xanthan gum. This helps with the binding because cassava flour doesn't have gluten, so it doesn't bind as much. Next, we add the sugar, a bit of salt, then yeast, instant yeast. I prefer instant yeast so that you don't have to wait for it to rise. And we also add baking powder. As I said earlier, cassava flour is dense and it's not easy to rise. So we add both yeast and baking powder to help it to rise. So we mix all the dry ingredients together and we set aside. Now we combine the wet ingredients. Start with the egg, 1 large egg. Next, we combine the oil. We add the oil. The oil is more than when you're making a normal bread with wheat, because cassava flour is very dry. So if you put little oil, it will not be moist. Lastly, add warm water and mix everything together. Now we combine the wet and the dry ingredients to make a batter. It will not be a dough. For wheat bread, you make a dough, but for cassava bread, to make a dough, it will not rise because it is firm. So mix. If you have a mixer, you can use a mixer, but you can also use a fork. Very easy to make gluten-free cassava bread. You just combine and then remove all the lumps. Make sure all the flour is mixed. And end up with a thickish batter. If it's too runny also, the cassava bread will sink. You need to be very careful with the consistency. Yeah, our batter is ready. So we grease our baking tin. Make sure it is greased properly and all corners. And we pour the butter. Using our spatula. Our cassava bread is ready. We remove it and we place it on the rack to cool. You can see how it looks, very moist and soft. You can feel how spongy it is. So we leave it to cool for about 2 hours or so, then we can slice it. Have your bread ready and it has cooled. You now slice it. Gluten-free bread goes very well with our low sugar jams. Any variety would do. For today, we're going to spread with plum and cinnamon jam. It is so easy to spread. The bread doesn't break.